Hello and welcome to your English news broadcast live on ERi-TV. It's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local time from our headquarters at Asmara with your domestic and international news in brief. I am Zahra Waduri, but first we'll begin with your major headlines for this broadcast. An announcement from the Ministry of Health. Ambassador Isa conducts meeting with nationals in Chad. Russia exceeds 1,000 daily COVIDs for the first time in yesterday's report. China launches second crew mission to build a space station. Welcome to your domestic in brief. One patient has been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at testing stations in the central region. On the other hand, one patient who has been receiving medical treatment in hospital in central region has recovered fully and have been discharged from facilities. Sadly, a 78-year-old patient in the central region has passed away due to the pandemic. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly risen to 6,677, while the number of deaths has increased to 45. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date stands at 6,774. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 17th October 2021. At a meeting they conducted with Ambassador Isa Ahmed Isa, the Eritrean nationals residing in the Republic of Chad have expressed conviction to reinforce organizational capacity and unity aimed at increasing contribution in national development programs. At the meeting, Ambassador Isa delivered extensive briefing on the objective homeland situation and regional developments, as well as on the effort the government of Eritrea is conducting in ensuring regional peace and cooperation, as well as social justice, reminding the nationals to make use of the educational and work opportunities they have gained to develop their capacities. Ambassador Isa expressed readiness of the embassy to support them in their endeavors to enhance organizational capacity and community activities. The head of the public affairs at the Embassy of Eritrea, Mr. Ismail Musa, on his part called on the nationals to give due attention in transferring the noble national values to the youth, as well as making extra effort in reflecting the true image of their country. The nationals, on their part, calling for the sustainability of similar programs, expressed readiness to play due role in national development drives. It is to be recalled that Ambassador Isa Ahmed Isa, Eritrean ambassador to Sudan, recently presented his credentials to the chairman of the Transitional Military Council of the Republic of Chad, General Mohamed Idris Deby, as non-resident ambassador to that country. Land of residential purposes was allotted to 576 nationals, including 208 females, in Mbadurho administrative area as your final domestic. At the ceremony conducted yesterday, 16th of October, Mr. Takhlit Barha, Mbadurho area administrator commanding all government institutions, particularly members of the land branch in the central region administration, for realizing the event and said that the land that was allotted to the nationals are located within the administrative area. Mr. Mokonnen Mail, head of the land branch in the central region administration, on his part, stated that the nationals are from inside and outside the country and have fulfilled the documents required. Mr. Kifla Mariam Gabra Meskel, administrator of Sarajaka subzone, on his part stated that the significance of the allotment of land for residential purposes called on other nationals that are not involved at the allotment program to present their documents. Stay tuned for more of your reports on the international line after this short break. And on your reports on the international line, an official tally also showed yesterday 33,208 new infections, setting a pandemic high for both fatalities and cases for the third day in a row. Russia has reported more than 1,000 daily COVID-related deaths for the first time since the start of the pandemic, with the country's vaccination drive at a standstill and no restrictions in place. An official government tally on Saturday reported 1,002 deaths and 33,208 new infections, setting a pandemic high for both fatalities and cases for the third time in a row. The surging outbreak has come with just 31% of Russia's fully incalculated as of Saturday, according to the Jogov website, which tallies COVID-19 data from the regions. A lack of tough restrictions has allowed the coronavirus to spread through a number of regions, have reintroduced QR codes for access to public places. The Kremlin has avoided reintroducing major restrictions despite calling the country's vaccination rate unacceptably low, saying that this week's authorities have to ensure, in quotation, the economy continues working. It also said that Russia's medical system is prepared to take in the rising number of patients, describing it as not overwhelmed. Authorities have blamed Russians for the growing outbreak. However, earlier this week, Health Minister Mikhail Moryshuk pointed to their behavior, while Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said everything had been done to give the public the chance to save their lives by getting vaccinated. While several local vaccinations and vaccines have been available for months, authorities have struggled to inculcate a vaccine-skeptic population. Independent polls show that more than a half of Russians do not plan to get a shot. Deaths from COVID in Russia now stands at 222,315, the highest toll in Europe. On your final reports, China on Saturday, October the 16th, launched a rocket carrying 3 astronauts, including 1 woman, to the core module of a future space station where they will live and work for 6 months, the longest ever duration in orbit for Chinese astronauts. A Long March 2F rocket carrying the Shenzhou 13 spacecraft, which means a divine vessel in Chinese, blasted off for Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in the northwestern province of Gansu at 12:23 a.m. Beijing time. China began construction of the space station in April with the launch of Tianhe, the first and largest of the station's 3 modules. Slightly bigger than a city dues, Tianhe will be the living quarter of the completed space station. Shenzhou 13 is a second of 4 crewed missions needed to complete the space station by the end of the year 2022. During the first crewed mission, that was concluded in September, 3 other astronauts stayed on Tianhe for 90 days. In the latest mission, astronauts will carry out tests of the key technologies and robotics on Tianhe needed to assemble the space station, verifying on board life support systems, and conduct a host of scientific experiments. The mission commander is Zhai Xingjiang, 55, from China's very first batch of astronaut trainees in the late 1990s. Born to a ruler family of 6 children, Zhai carried out China's first spacewalk in 2008. Shenzhou 13 was his second space mission. However, Zhai said at a press conference on Thursday that the most challenging task will be the long-term staying in orbit for 6 months, and that it will exact higher demands on them both physically and psychologically. Xi was accompanied by Wang Yiping, 41, and Yi Ganfu, 41. Wang, a mother of a 5-year-old, was born to a rural family like Xi. Known more among her colleagues for her intensity, the former Air Force pilot first traveled to space in 2013 to Tangwang-1, a prototype space lab. China has so far sent 2 female astronauts to space. The first was Lu Yang in 2012. Shanzhua 13 was the first space mission for the third astronaut, Yi. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, these are your major headlines for this broadcast in review. An announcement from the Ministry of Health as your primary domestic. Ambassador Ahmed Isa conducts meeting with nationals in Chad. Russia exceeds 1,000 daily COVID tests and deaths for the first time in yesterday's report. China launches second crewed mission to build a space station. That is all for now. Thanks for watching and have a nice one.